This time on Roadworthy Rescues, we build a 38 Chevy.
By unbuilding it first?
Yep.
Just trust me, it's fine.
I don't know what's going to happen in a foot from now.
Wow. This week on Roadworthy Rescues, something completely different. We're doing a full build, bumper to bumper, on this 1938 Chevy Coupe. Vice Grip Garage fans on YouTube will recognize this car. I picked it up 5 or 6 years ago from a family friend of Luke McLean, who was the owner and race car driver of this car. He started racing in 1958, and this was his original race car. It was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2002, along with himself. He won many championships in the 60s with this car. It was a driving force. It set track records. It has probably more wins than anything. It's an absolutely iconic car. I did some racing with it, some rallycross, some oval stuff, and then it's really been sitting. My friend Andy and I blew it apart. We wanted to rebuild it. Our goal is to get this thing back on the track and back on the street, make this thing street legal. We've obviously got a tremendous amount of work to do. We're here at my friend's shop in Minnesota. We have tools and things and parts galore, but we need to walk around this thing, see what it's really going to take, and then get after it. So let's take a look here. So this car is one of the most raw, radical, and outrageous examples of a homemade race car and how things really were just thrown together back in the day to go race and have fun with your friends. Luke and his friend put this together with stuff they had laying around the yard, and I'm gonna show you a few examples of that. They had a drill pipe roll cage and a bunch of homebrew suspension. And he got really creative, and that led to him winning a lot of races. One of those examples is this hot little small block in here. Looks pretty stock, but I assure you it's not. And if you notice, it's set way back into the cab. The front of the engine is right here, where traditionally it would have been way up here. So he was playing with weight distribution. The suspension was moved forward, and we'll see a bunch of those cobbled pieces and plates and things of that nature. We actually, Andy made this hoop for me later on in the bumper. We had to take some of this stuff off just to make it somewhat safe. We added the Nerf bars. There were just drill pipe Nerf bars. On this side, look at the steering here. Again, it's just pieces and chunks of metal that they had laying around the yard, and they just put it in there. And now remember, this car is going around the track at probably 80, 90 miles an hour, and this is what's steering your vehicle. Pretty sketchy. So in here, this was, once again, just bent up drill pipe and really sketchy. And because the engine's set so far back, see this here? Normally the firewall is way up here. It's flush with the dash. The transmission shifter was about here. He actually shifted this car and between the legs when you're racing this. And if you look where the steering wheel did attach, the seat was actually set way back into the car, offset to the center and angled, because there was only a tiny little pocket over here to run the brake and the gas. Mostly the gas. I don't remember the brakes ever working. That's probably why I always won. So that's gonna be one of our challenges, is we need to get the motor forward so we can properly build a transmission hump, make some room for feet. I wanna put 2 seats in here. If we're gonna put it on the street, it'd be nice to have a passenger and things of that nature. But we're not going to be using this engine or the old transmission. I've got big plans. So here's a high-level overview of the build here. Now, I've been collecting parts for years, and we brought some with us. And hopefully it looks something like this. First of all, the frame needs to be completely stripped down. We've got a Mustang 2 manual rack front suspension that has to go in here. To get rid of this, death. Let's just call it what it is. All this needs cut off and redone. In the rear, I want to do a 4-link and hang a quick performance rear back there with 35 spine axles and a 355 gear. So we got some hole shot, but we could still run it down the highway. Up front, the business end, I've got a Blueprint 400 that's been wrapped in a trash bag for, I don't know, 5 years. It made 515 horsepower naturally aspirated. That's quite a bit, but I want to pick it up. So we're going to throw a Blower Shop 871 on top of that bad boy and really put the ponies down. Behind that, we have a TKX 5-speed I want to put in this. Again, so we have a highway gear, but we still got some grunt down low. Okay, there's a lot to do here in a handful of days, and I think I need some help, and I got just the guys. Andy, you remember Andy, Ralaxy, DeLorean? How's it going, man?
Good.
You're probably excited to get this out of your shop.
Yeah, it's been sitting about right there for, a long time.
A long time.
It's kind of been a centerpiece for the shop, but...
And now we also need 4-link Dave. Yes, he's back. How's it
Yes, mobile fabrication unit.
going? Obviously, these guys are tremendous fabricators, which will lead me to doing things like trying to figure out how to make motor run and wiring and all of that
Because it
jazz.
needs a blower.
Right.
That's what this
very
thing
important.
needs.
Yeah, very
Needs a blower to run, clearly.
Yeah.
All right, that's
Blow this thing apart.
Yes.
That's all there is to it. There's 3 pallets of hard goods over there that need to go on this car.
torches and sawzalls.
Yep, all that.
Let's get at her.
Yep.
So here's the general idea of where we're going to start here. We've got 3 of us. We don't want to be crawling over each other, but there's certain things that need to happen so we can all work independently. Primarily, the engine and transmission needs to come forward so we can figure out cooling. So I think we're going to get the engine and transmission set in, get the front suspension done, because then we can go to the rear and actually hang that 4-link and get a drive shaft measurement. We're going to have to get that out right away because that's got to be custom made. We're not going to worry about any of the sheet metal or tin or wiring or any of that till the very end. Basically, it's bend and tube, welding, cutting, torches, all of that stuff, engine transmission placement. If there's time at the end, we'll doll it up. Now it's just disassembly.
There it is. Go give that back to the ice cream man. Huh. Hang it. How close are we? Oh, wait.
Hey, hold on.
Where's the rest of...
guy.
This seems really wrong. Hold on. Let's evaluate.
I don't know what's going to happen in a foot from now.
What if we tip it over?
Oh, geez.
This is the wildest thing. What do you...
Can someone take a picture?
Is this gonna work? I can't see nothing. Oh.
This is actually going really well.
Yeah, what were you guys worried about?
We're gonna pull off the fuel making happener, actually use the tool as it's intended, a cherry picker, and lift the engine out and then redo all of this. Front axle goes away, shock loops go away.
Yep.
This gets cut off, this gets cut off, everything gets ground, cleaned up. We gotta fit the front end in here because that's gonna dictate where we put the engine. And I got a foam block with some accessorize on it. We can start setting that in because then we can put the radiator in, make sure it fits in the nose cone, and then build that way.
Piece of cake. We'll be done by noon.
Yeah!
Yes!
How many grinders do you think we're gonna kill this
All
week?
of them.
14. We're gonna divide and conquer. Dave's setting up a torch. He's gonna start cutting a lot of this. Andy's gonna come in here and actually weld this cage together because as we're cutting a lot of this out, we're losing some of our stability. He's gonna weld that in, zap it all up, maybe put another bar in there. He's also going to work on the running board. And I think that'll probably close out the day.
I'm working on the the little step plates that I had done on the other side, so I'm trying to copy it. I had done it by hand years ago, so I'm trying to use the technology and draw it in CAD, and then go put it on the CNC plasma and cut it out and save some time. So we'll see. So far, so good, I guess.
The front of this thing was on a straight axle with leaf springs. All the stuff was like moved forward. It was welded in the wrong places. It had scabbed over patch panels. It's nuts how much stuff we cut off of this. This is the weirdest way I've ever built a car. All right. It is back down to almost a bare 38 Chevy frame, which is really cool. It's a great starting point. If we keep hustling tonight, we should be able to have this thing like fresh and clean. So tomorrow we can come in here, we can throw a cross member in it, do that Mustang 2 suspension, and actually start making forward progress. But the amount of disassembly today has been amazing. It's just crazy. It's so much work.
Well, good morning. Day 2 on the 38 Chevy. You didn't miss a lot last night. It was just grinding and grinding and grinding.
Lots of cutting.
And grinding. So I think you guys are going to work on the Mustang 2.
Yeah, I want to square up the chassis a little bit, even if it's just trying to like pull a tape measure on it. And then I want to get that Mustang 2 cross member welded in and start sort of fixing these front frame rails back up so they're not total Swiss cheese garbage.
Yeah. So what he's talking about underneath here after we got everything off, it's really rotted, thin metal, stuff like that. So he's going to try to put some stability in it with the help of Andy. I'm going to stay out of these guys' way. I'm going to go over here, start working on engine stuff. So I'm going to assemble the blower. I got to get the transmission out. We're going to see if the clutch is correct. We've got the accessories to figure out. We got a body built kind of back behind us, and then our power is combined in 40 minutes. We'll put the motor in.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are not throwing the solid front axle back in this thing. That was old news. We're now throwing in this Mustang 2 front kit from Heights. This is actually a full independent rack and pinion front suspension. These have been on the market for probably 30 years now, and they always work really good. So they usually fit well, they go together, you don't have problems with them. It's gonna be a coil spring, and then I think it has some sort of an adjustable shock that goes in here. We're gonna go and fit this to the chassis. It's actually made for this frame width, so it should go together pretty quick. This is one of my favorite kits to do. I've been doing these things since I started doing chassis work, and it's always a good time. It is gonna get a little bit weird when we're trying to set up that engine in place because we're gonna have a steering rack that goes kind of right past where the motor mount needs to be, but we should be able to get creative, build some like little tube mounts and get the engine where it lives and have all the room for Derek's gigantic feet. I feel like I can actually weld this thing in and not have to worry about the thing driving down the road crooked.
So this is the crowning jewel of the car. It's going to be the engine assembly. This is a Blueprint 400 small block. I picked this up years ago and have had it just sitting in the shop waiting for the day to build this 38 Chevy. This thing here made 515 horsepower at around 5,900 RPM, naturally aspirated. But this isn't complete without the blower shop 871 blower. This is a roots blower that's going to be going on top. Apparently the Hot Rod Garage budget's a lot higher. Their credit card went right through for this blower, so that's pretty sweet. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And then we've got a CVF Racing accessory system that ties everything together on the front with one nice belt. It's going to be rad. So I got to build this thing. I'm going to use a dummy block over here to figure out all the accessories, start measuring, start assembling. So when the suspension's done, we can start figuring out where to place this engine in the frame rail. I need to move it way forward so I could fit my big old cowboy boots in there and run the pedals, which we still haven't hung either on something. We need a firewall, and then everything's going to be fine. Just you wait, see. We got lots of time left. No, we don't.
Eric's messing around with the engine. He's gonna get that thing mounted, which is awesome. So I figured I would move back here to the 4-link for the rear axle. We've got this drag style 4-link kit. These are just the brackets for the frame side and the axle side. And just kind of brainstorming back here with Andy on where this stuff is gonna live. I kind of feel like we're gonna end up doing some tube work on this one. This is actually designed for like when you back half a drag car and you have a frame rail that comes up real steep. We don't have that, but we do have open space to work with. So I think what we're gonna do is shoot a round tube across the frame, and that'll give us sort of a starting point. Eventually, we'll probably tie that tube in with the cage and in with the transmission mount. This guy here is pretty cool, but you can see it's designed to like get welded to an axle before it has the end bearing cups on it. So we're gonna end up having to trim this out here and there so that we can slip this onto the axle. We'll get our in and out, side to side, make all this stuff happy, and later on today we should have 4 bars in here and an axle that kind of goes up and down.
Trying to get the motor mounts situated in here. We've got a couple different styles here, and I'm gonna get creative on the captain's side because we've got a steering rod that comes off the rack that has to travel through here and make its way into the cabin there. There's another bracket that I'm gonna try to use to push this forward to give us more height, but I've got to start making marks to make sure this is in here square, get everything figured out where I think it needs to be, then I gotta pull this back out, put the bell housing and transmission on it, get it back in. We know this lift is level, so then we can start eyeballing where we want the engine to sit as far as tilt and final height and everything. And then we'll burn those in and we're off and running.
Get in there.
Hell yeah. Got it. Okay, that's pretty good. Bang that blower pulley right off on the cross member. Oh!
Let's go down. Well, it's end of day 2 and we kicked butt today. We actually got a lot done. Cross members in for the Mustang 2. Dave's been working on the back. We got the 4-link started here. Andy's got all the cage welded in, did a bunch of other welding and stuff like that. Engine and transmission are kind of sort of mocked in here. This is where it's gonna live. It's only day 2 and I feel like we're
killing it, dude.
we got a lot done. It's day 3 and we are almost finished.
It's really getting there.
We have a plan, though. Dave's been absolutely rocking on this 4-link back here. He's got, like, all the bracket doodabbies welded on and the thing I'm sitting on welded in.
Yeah.
And you're going to do the arms, levers?
Yeah, this morning I'm busting out 4-link bars so this thing can swing in its own axis or whatever you call it. And then I want to do coilover mounts and kind of wrap that thing today.
Nice. Andy and I are going to throw in a transmission cross member quick. And then we're gonna get a drive shaft measurement, hopefully, because we gotta get one made. And then I'll come back and help Andy clean up the frame horns. And I think we're gonna try to paint everything. Cage, front suspension, all of that. That's our goal by the end of the day, is to have some wheels hanging on this thing. And it should look like a car.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna look like a go-kart. Yo, I am gonna be making some 4-link bars here. I've never done one of these drag style 4-links, so I'm not sure where I'm supposed to mount everything, but I think what I'm gonna do is find the middle spot, top and bottom, and middle spots over here, and just make bars that fit. It should be fine. So I'll pull measurements on all these things to get the axle centered, then go and weld the bungs into the tubes that this thing comes with, and hopefully in a couple hours we'll be like cycling this thing.
Poor Dave, every time he hangs out with me, he just welds for 5 days straight. Sorry, Dave. Love you. So a guy brought in 2 transmission cross members to give us some options on here because I really had no idea what we were getting into. And there's one that's already lowered, but it wasn't quite enough. So we're actually taking the straight one, running it through the bender here, and adding our own 19.5 degree whoop. And then Andy's gonna hack this at an angle, weld it into some plates. I've cleaned up the frame over here and got the plates ready. And then we have a custom cross member, and the transmission will bolt right up to this thing. So now that we have this essentially bolted in where it's gonna live, and we're just gonna have to deal with it at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and just yank this back out. I still have a ton of just piddly stuff that takes up time to do. Put a starter in, put the sparkulators in, put the oil in. Now that I've tested the accessories in the foam block, I gotta build everything out here, get all the pulleys to line up, do all that. I got a different bottom pulley for the blower I gotta put back on. And then I got things like, I gotta plumb oil lines, I gotta drop the distributor in, I need to time it. There's just a lot that needs done.
The 4-link all kind of lives in its zone, and now I'm trying to figure out coilovers. I'm trying to figure out like how to have adjustability up and down. And I'm gonna build a little cross member over here, some tabs off of it that'll grab that. And then I believe after that, I need to figure out a drive shaft loop. That cross member I just put in is right in line with where the drive shaft's gonna live, but at least now I know where the hoop needs to go and how big it needs to be up or down. The goal today was to get to a spot where we could sort of blow it apart and start painting parts white. And I think this is pretty close. I'm gonna do a little bit of fab work for a drive shaft loop, and then I can kind of put a bow on this thing and say it's done.
Well, we put in the hours last night, and look, the chassis is all white, just like Luke and his friends did many times in the past. There was a few different Sherwin-Williams and some sort of out there Bayer paint, and all sorts of stuff. But look, we've spent every minute we've been here repairing, patching, replacing, fixing, welding, boxing this original frame and building this chassis because we all agreed that was kind of the cool thing to do. It's got a lot of history, it's been around, and it's the affordable, realistic way to do it. Now, could we have borrowed the Hot Rod Garage credit card again and bought a Roadster Shop chassis and just rolled that thing in and already had the body and engine in? Yeah, but that's not as cool. It's really expensive. It's not realistic, really. And don't get me wrong, they're really nice chassis, but that's just not what we're about. So now we finally get to do legit assembly and start putting all the pieces back together. One of the things I've got to do here is trim this body to fit back on the car. One of our first challenges was trying to figure out where to put this engine and transmission because remember, the way that Luke had the engine was set way back in here like this, but the exhaust tucked and went under the vehicle. Well, now we've got some really cool side exit headers that kind of complete the look that I want to do with the car. So I'm going to have to trim and it's gonna clean up the look of the body from the side anyway. And then Andy's gonna have to figure out how to make different mounts and tie this into the chassis, most likely with some gussets along the A pillar and B pillar. So we're getting ready to grab that thing, walk it over here, and just throw it right back on. The problem is Andy did such a nice job with this cage. It's really tight on the car, so you have to like stretch it and fit it over because the cage follows the body lines. Things are gonna happen quickly. It's gonna be awesome. Okay, down.
How's it going over there?
How far are we?
It's going good. Okay, if you get your hand out, it might go.
Who?
You.
Yeah, you, yeah. What's wrong with it?
We're gonna go
We're
down.
going down already? I thought we were going forward. Farther.
Oh, just fall right in place.
Is Travis still
There
alive?
it is.
Travis!
I'm in the trunk.
Okay.
Now back. Up and back.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That's it.
That's close enough, I guess. We are putting the motor in finally. Starting to look like a real car.
Okay.
Easy.
Whoa.
Easy.
Oh.
Yeah, you just need to go with it. There you go.
I'm out back. I was just gonna throw some paint on this, but I think what I'm gonna do is actually like put the center chunk in, do the RTV, clean the whole housing, and paint it put together. It'll be less masking and a little bit less work in the long run. So I'll be out here, we'll get that thing in, we'll get axle shafts in it, kind of button this thing up, and then paint the whole thing white all in one shot.
So a guy pulled the valve cover off here. Out of necessity and curiosity, I wanted to see what was inside of this engine. Again, I've had this for years after I got it, and it's just been sitting. It's got comp valve train in it. Looks really nice. It's got the blueprint heads, obviously. It's a roller cam. But we needed one valve cover off to slip that blower manifold in. Otherwise, it sat on the edges of the valve cover. And I'm also going to take advantage of this, setting this to top dead center by watching the valves here operate. So I'm going to hook up a jump box here in a minute, crank it over. We'll watch this valve train move. And once that piston's at top dead center, I'll have my timing marks, and I can set this at initial timing and then drop my distributor in. So when we go to fire this thing up eventually, bam, it should light right off. Now is also an excellent time to get any of this dirt and debris. It's been sitting in a barn for years. And I'm gonna dump in my engine oil, slather up all the valve train, good opportunity. That'll be in, and we can take off this no oil sticker as well. Well, since a guy has never owned an engine part this nice, I'm gonna go ahead and take a flap disc to it. Here's why. I just went to plop this thing on, and it is not playing nice with the blueprint heads. There's these tabs here over the intake ports, and these are interferencing with the heads. So I've traced out an intake gasket here with a marker. That's our do not enter zone. I've got to come in here and just angle this chunk right here and here on both sides, so hopefully this sits down on that engine. I really don't have a choice. I can't go carve into the heads because then the valve covers will not seal and we'll be blowing oil up everywhere else. So this is gonna be terrifying, but fun.
I am getting ready to figure out plates to tie the cage into the body because now we don't have any body mounts on the front. Should do it anyway, because everything kind of just needs to, the body needs to be one with the cage when the cage is tied into the frame like this. So I'm gonna go around and make some dimple dyed sheet metal things to tie it in here and around the top of the cage, and then the bead pillar back here somewhere. And then we'll be good to go and all one piece again.
Drive shaft coming in.
Coming in hot.
That goes through that hole.
Right here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then up to that thing.
I was gonna say, why did we put that there? But, you know. Well, thank God it went in.
Look at that. That's easy. Just let it hang and I'll go grab the axle and hopefully all these things attach to other things in the right spots. That was cool. We just like randomly gave a drive shaft guy some notes yesterday and now we have a drive shaft. We'll find out if it's the right length or not here in a second. You gonna come down with the lift a bump? Oh God, my hand was in there. A little more. Oh, that's good. Dude, I'm dialed. The drive shaft is gonna be perfect. We're gonna connect all these dots. And it's gonna be a car here pretty soon. Get a hell yeah? Look at that.
Looks like a real thing.
It is it's crazy. It just went from like a bunch of stuff laying on the ground to a bunch of stuff in a race car.
The integrated shock mount thing is pretty sweet. That makes it nice. Great work, Dave.
Awesome. Slowly becoming a car.
We had to modify the blower manifold. We got all that figured out, went through the valve train. We got it on top dead center. Did some clearancing on the valve covers, new gaskets there, got everything mounted. Now I'm gonna probably stab the lightning whirler in the back here while I still have some room and get that set to initial timing. I gotta pull up the paperwork on this. I'm guessing it's probably 16 to 18 degrees. That's pretty much every small block. After that's done, I'll get the blower belt on after I torque on the case, and then we can find our throttle body and throw that up here. We have a single and a double. Right now we're just gonna do a single, but ideally we're gonna have two big carbs on here or two snipers or something like that. Fuel injection would be great just because this is gonna be at events from West Coast to East Coast, different elevations, different weather, and it'd be really nice just to lean in, hit a button, thing fires up, and you don't have to.
What's the elevation at the Atlantic Ocean?
Yes.
And then Pacific Ocean's different?
Oh yeah, big time.
Okay. Check it out, the axle housing is in place and suspension's hanging there. And now I'm gonna do the axle shafts and throw these guys in. These are custom made to length for this rear end, which is pretty cool. And we've got this disc brake kit that also needs to go on with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and slide these in, do a little RTV in here, start mocking up the brake caliper stands, and then we should kind of have a fully complete rear axle here pretty soon.
Well, good morning. We're back on the 38 Chevy. We're here in central Minnesota at my friend Andy's place, trying to get this car put back together that he and I started, I don't know, 5 years ago, probably. Not quite sure it's gonna run, Andy.
Yeah, but it's gonna look cool.
Today, Dave and I are gonna slam together this front end. I'm gonna get the control arms put together, get all the hardware in here, spindles on, springs, shocks. He's gonna pack bearings. He's gonna knock some studs out. We gotta convert that for our wheels. And hopefully here shortly, we're gonna have it down on the ground and all the paws. Well, we ordered a standard Mustang 2 front end, but looking at the ride height and everything going on, we switched to drop spindles, but then we've got standard height coil springs here. And we're gonna fix that with the old bandsaw lowering kit. I'm just gonna come in here and take one coil off, and that'll give us, well, essentially that in lowering. Okay, keep going. Keep going. Okay. So guys going with the manual rack here for a couple of reasons, mostly to simplify it, but also keep the old school stuff alive. So you'll see here we don't have a power steering pump or anything on the engine, which means we'd have a big traditional honking gearbox and the hydraulic lines and all that. Instead, this is going to take care of it for us. It's just a manual rack. This simply basically goes up and attaches to the steering wheel and you muscle it around. And I say muscle it, but it's really not that bad. This is gonna attach right here. And then we'll put some doodabbers on right here, that right into that. And then we can adjust our toe in. We'll have to do camber and all that. We're gonna kind of rough it in. Then we could start on a steering shaft that's gonna work our way under there, through a firewall, and up into the cab. There's a whole chunk of front end here that I just sawzalled off. And we gotta start redesigning that and come up with some way to mount the radiator and shape the front. It's gonna need a bumper or a push bar, something that can get through the wall of the tavern and that stuff. Well, it's funny how some of the little things, or things that you would assume would be easier, actually take up more time. We're trying to get the original sheet metal back on this front end, which actually, surprisingly, is somewhat falling right into place. But we make a tweak here, that's way off. We move this, that's ruined. We're gonna keep fiddling around with this. It's gonna be quite a night trying to get this figured out. Eventually, we'll have this all supported in here, gusseted in. It'll look somewhat straight, and we gotta get a steering shaft in there as well. But we'll catch up with you tomorrow morning and share the progress. Well, here is the Hall of Fame 777 1938 Chevy. No, it doesn't run, and we didn't get to the interior and stuff like that. We ran out of time, but in no way is this defeat. This is incredible, and we did a lot of work thanks to Andy and Dave in the amount of time that we had. I mean, this thing basically is brand new other than the body. Everything was
it's pretty
touched.
wild. I was looking through my pictures on my phone, and this thing was blown apart like
Yeah.
2 days ago.
This is an early 60s champion dirt track car that was inducted in the Hall of Fame, along with Luke McLean around 2007. And he actually went back and rebuilt it again with his friends and started racing it and winning once again.
And you drove this and raced it around a track in that same form?
In that same
Yeah.
form. Yep, it was wild. So I've been dreaming of this car, how it looks right here for a long, long time. And this thing was rad. We actually ended up spending 3 full days repairing and patching and adding to the original frame and basically made a custom chassis on this thing,
Yeah.
which I think was really cool.
Yeah.
I agree. I think doing all this work to the stock frame may have been a lot of hustle, but it's still cool to be able to say that's the original frame.
Yeah.
Yeah,
some heritage.
absolutely. Now it's got a Heights Mustang 2 front end on it, and Dave killed it on the back end with like a very racy, adjustable 4-link back there and custom drive shaft hoop and all sorts of stuff. It's pretty trick. We've got a Blueprint 400 in here, and it's got a blower shop 671 on that. We're gonna have some sort of Holley fuel system. I haven't decided if we're gonna poke it through the hood or go duals yet. Time will tell on that. We've got a Silver Sport Transmissions TKX 5-speed in here. And the package as one is going to be a handful and a lot of fun. I hope to do road course stuff, drag racing, dirt track, cruising events, drag weeks, ice cream, tavern trips, you name it.
Yeah, everything.
But
Yeah.
it doesn't run.
Nope.
So there's a track back here. Do you have something we could maybe?
Yeah, I got a couple, 2 or 3 things we could rip.
All right. I think let's end on a high note and go
Yep.
break something.
Let's do it.
Backyard dirt tracking. Oh my gosh. This time on Roadworthy Rescues, we're going racing. Oh, jeez. Oh, wow. Oh, that's enough. Oh, pipe it down. Big tree, big tree. Woo-hoo! That's fine, we'll jump. Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, little tree.
Hold my hand in. Oh, my.
All right.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode and season of Roadworthy Rescues, but stay tuned. There's plenty more to come. Hits!
It's too narrow right there, evidently. What are you doing down there?